And we're live. Yay!
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Tanner's Haunted Secrets
on the Outline Network. What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the app. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn out the volume.
Hello, 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 and welcome to our corner of the freak show. Today we are here with the wonderful Jimmy and Erica of Wells Township Haunted House.
Hello.
So nice to meet you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Our wonderful host pile, in theory, should be here later. For right now, it's just us. And let's see if I have no idea how I can't get anywhere near his wonderful energy, but I get to have the joy of being here with these beautiful people. So, guys, please tell me about your amazing haunt.
Well, we are located in Brilliant, Ohio. We are about 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. So we're in the tri-state area. We call it the Ohio Valley. See, I know it all, but when I'm asked, it's a little hard to remember. Like, what do I say? We are in a big, like, industrial old warehouse building. Originally, when it started, we were in a house on the other side of town, an old house, and that started back in 2003. And then several years later, we moved into this place, and this is where we've been ever since. You came here from another haunt. What year was that?
Forever ago.
Yeah. Well, I know I came in 2010. So he would have came probably 2 years prior to me coming here.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for a long time in this haunt, but we started at another haunted house across the river in West Virginia that's no longer open. But a lot of us we came over from this other haunt, and merge might not be the word that I'm looking for, but the original people from Wells Township and the people that come over from the old haunted house merged their ideas together, and it grew from there, and it's exploded ever since. So 2000 and that would have been, I think 2008 is when you came. So
that sounds right.
It was the first year that we opened here. So yes, 2008. So in this building since 2008. So we are one of the few guided tours where most haunts are walk through self-guided. We have tour guides that will meet you at the front door and bring you in. They guide you through the house. But another unique experience about our house is it's not like a queue line. We have live bands playing outside, a different band every night. So you do a lot of you come, you get your tickets, whether it's online or you get them from the ticket booth, but you're not waiting in the line. You're just watching a number board, looking for your number on your wristband. So it's like a rock show with our scare actors outside, what we call our roamers, roaming around outside. And so you watch for your number. We'll call it over the microphone and let you know, group 10, come to the front of the house, and then you come in and you meet your tour guide. And after that, you're basically like, we're not a themed haunt. So we do a lot of like small stories almost. So like each room you go to is like a small set from like a different movie, whatever, what have you. So it's not like the whole house is vampires or zombies or anything like that. So everything is like a mini movie in each room. Right. So.
Yes,
but it's not scenes from movies.
Right. Yeah, I guess I should say that. Yeah, it's not scenes. It's just like you're watching a mini movie, and then you could be watching a movie that's outdoors, and then you go into another room, and maybe you're in an asylum or what have you. So it's all different, and we change it every year. So a lot of tear down and rebuilds.
Okay. Last year you had like a freak show and a cave and a bunch of other little mini movie set up with some wonderful scenes. I did some research before coming on, and I know of 2 of the tour guides, but how many tour guides do you have?
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on the season and depend on the night. So we're a strictly volunteer-based haunted house. So obviously we don't expect you to call off work to come, So when you're a tour guide, you know that you're a tour guide. You don't just come and get placed in a room in your spot wherever you're going to be. So we have a group of tour guides, generally probably on like a Friday night, pre 8 to 10. Sometimes on a Saturday when we're much busier and less people are working, we'll have more than that. But I would say on average, anywhere between 10, 12. So just the way that we have our haunt set up, though, it's like a revolving door. So you drop them off where you need to go, and you come right through a hallway and come right out back up and wait for the next group. So.
Okay, so it's a continuing funnel of different tours guides. Because
yes.
Boo the Clown and that other gentleman were so much fun to watch on TikTok and YouTube.
We have a lot of unique personalities, that's for sure.
Do you guys cycle through a bunch of scenes, or do you just change out certain ones every year?
Well, we have a few areas in the house that generally stay the same. So we have a slide that's always there. We have a vortex tunnel that's always up. We have a claustrophobia tunnel, and then we have it's another claustrophobia tunnel, but it's a mini. It's waist high. So those 2 stay up every year. But as far as the rooms, most of the time, those are changed every year. Okay. So like where we're sitting really right now. Yeah. So where we're sitting right now, we it's for years, we've called it the porch. Doesn't mean it's decorated like a porch. It doesn't mean, the object of this room would be you're sitting in a porch, but that's just what we know it as, the porch. So it's basically like the introduction of the house. It doesn't get changed it used to, we would change it every year, but now it's more so every couple of years, and that we would retheme it, but it's always the introduction to the house. So like right now we're sitting on the benches. There's almost like stadium seating. There's another bench behind us. So the group would walk in here, sit down. You have your scene in front of you, someone, a voiceover speaking, just basically setting you up. Hi.
Hi.
Setting you up for what you're in for. Hi.
Yeah, I bring them
Hi.
up and wave at them while you're talking, and yay, Pyle's here. I feel less afraid.
Oh, you shouldn't be afraid. I'm sure you were going to do a wonderful job no matter what. I just got back and I was so excited because trust me, this is a haunt that I just absolutely want to be on the show, and I wanted to talk about this because it is a charity haunt as much as mine is. And I think it's wonderful. And trust me, I would love to get up there and I would love to see it. It's just unfortunately when I'm working, you're working.
I know.
Yep.
We get it. That's why we're not open on Sundays. So generally that's when big groups of us get together and we just look around for any haunts that are open on Sundays. So that sometimes we're driving 3-4 hours to go see another haunt just because we want to have the fun too. I mean, not that we don't have enough fun working, but we want to experience other people's haunts too. But we get it. It's hard.
But I will tell you that something that a couple haunts have done in the past is they have done a special industry haunt night. It's halfway through the week, and it doesn't have all their people, but it does able the other haunters to come up, open their doors, just to have people look at what you guys been working on. And trust me, I know how haunters are. We like to keep secrets here and there, but we also love to go and find out the secrets from other haunts.
Right.
Definitely.
There's a haunt that's on the other side of Pittsburgh from us, and they've done that to us before for us, and we've gone over, and they had limited actors. Their actors worked all weekend, and so they allowed us to go through and then gave us behind the scenes, and we've done that several times here too. Other haunters or just people who like to travel and see haunts too. We've let them in. We bring them into the makeup room, and we've also had times where we're done for the night and there was another haunt that drove to come see us, and we bring them into. They've already been through. We turn on all the lights and let them see what we do, because a lot of our rooms are not out of a box. We don't, you know what I mean. We don't go in. Not knocking those who do, because there's some really amazing talent out there to be paid for in trans world, whatever. But a lot of ours are just things that we've come up with in our head and figured it out to make it work, so we like to show off too. We're proud of that. This
So
is I made this out of that, and they're like, what? Like, right. I never would have thought of that.
I feel like you guys are the same as us. We feel that we are firm believers that we have the 2x4 technology.
Yes.
And we are scrappers. Yep. And yes. We are, ooh, look at that. And hey, let's see what we can work out. See, I'm from a haunt. It's a charity haunt. Can we work on something together? And next thing you know, there's a guillotine in the back of a trailer.
Right.
We just did that not too long ago with a gramophone, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was shocked there. I mean, it's always amazing though. You're, obviously a lot of people that you're friends with, friends and family on your Facebook or whatever, they understand for the most part, but it's always funny. You make a post. Hey, I'm looking for a busted toilet. Does anybody have one I can have for free?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, now that you bring that up, it's not the busted toilet we're after. It's the Porter John.
Yeah.
We want a busted Porter John that people can actually open the door and go through it, because that would be going into a new section that just got built at our haunt. So I get you. I feel it. Trust me. Oh man. Yeah. And look at Friday smiling.
Okay. As you can see, I explore death and I explore haunts and I research it all. And I'm going through and I've looked at everything there is to know from one aspect to another and still finding new things about things like caskets and so on and so forth. So I've recently found out that a new toilet costs as much as a new pair of steel-toed shoes. So knowing
Yeah.
how much all these things cost brand new, and I'm looking through all these beautiful haunts, and I'm like, oh my god, I wonder what they did to Will and Dill and get that. Oh, I love how they use that. I wouldn't have thought about taking that and put that there with all of those things. That is a great mix. I wonder if I can just put that as my background on my computer, or how can I take that and make something new? And it is so amazing. And in the walkthrough I saw of y'all's haunt, there were so many great rooms from one section to another. How you guys made it, how you guys redid the scenes with your people, and I was amazed. I was excited. I was so happy, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see what they do this year. I hope they get another walkthrough, or at least they put up pictures of some of the little things they did.
We're actually working on that now. We also too just started with a TikTok account, so we've been working on some videos and things like that for that. But we definitely are, and Jimmy here is our what we like to call our creative director, because he does the website and the photography and the videography and the videos and all of those things that come with it, that I look at it and I'm just like, what? You know, hey, I got to do this podcast. Will you go in there and set this up for me? You know, so, but that's what we are working on. That we do like to make promo videos and things. It's just, I think it might be from like, in general, just still coming back from like COVID. It's like, you know what I mean? We've done well, but like just feeling like we haven't had the time. I mean, with us too, we have a tiny haunter now, so our time is a little limited, but we're getting back into the swing of things of promotions and stuff. So there's definitely more to come.
Right.
And you know what? I can speak about that whole thing with COVID. It just, some haunts could open, some haunts could not. It was almost like as soon as we got on the other side of it, they forgot that this is what you guys used to do. And now people are like, oh, okay. And that's one of the things.
Thank you, JT.
You guys were labeled as geniuses.
I take it JT must be part of your crew.
He is a very long time friend too. He's the one that I was talking about earlier when we came from another haunt. He's another one. So
okay,
known him for a very long time.
Well, that's wonderful. But yeah, that whole thing with COVID, man, I'll tell you, it's almost like people forgot about us and this and that, and they're like, oh, okay, well, you guys ain't as scary as what we remember you as.
Right.
Oh,
right. It was
okay.
It was like COVID made haunted. How do I put it? COVID was scarier than haunted houses. What it seemed like.
Yeah.
It was like it pumped up a bar.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like it put us in another realm.
There's nothing.
Like we're not even.
There's nothing you can do in that haunted house that'll scare me. What we just dealt with.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Right. And trust me, I feel that 100%.
I literally, okay, not to bring a morbid spin to this, I literally saw my mom die. But I've also had a guy jump out of a hole in a place that I couldn't even see was there and be bigger than I am, go from like shorter than my knee to bigger than I am and nearly knock me on my butt. So it's possible for you guys to do better.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of different techniques too that when you aren't a part of this, you're just like sitting there like scratching your head, like almost like it's magic, you know. But if we flip the lights on and walked you through exactly what we just like, you did that from that. It's amazing. Just what a little bit of lighting and different effects can do for you. So it's definitely, it takes a lot of using your head and that creativity to make it work. And then it's almost like when you've been doing it as long as we have, it's like, how do we top that?
Right.
You know what I mean? With like, I'm running out of ideas here. And then the next thing you know, you're just sitting around and it just grows. And you're like, oh, that would be amazing. Let's do that. And then the next year it's the same thing. How do I top that?
So I will tell you, one of my biggest problems is as soon as our haunt season is over, everybody wants to come running at me with ideas. And I tell them to write them down in a book.
Yes.
Write them down in a book. And the thing is, what ain't going to work for you this year or next year doesn't mean that idea is gone. It means that we don't have the time or the resources. But when we get the time, the resources, and the parts, pieces, and manpower, boy, those ideas really absolutely 100% come to play. And I'm very proud of haunts that do that. Some haunts are like, oh, well, you know what? This worked for them. I'm going to alter it and bring it here. Right. You have to definitely put your own spin on things, though. Absolutely. And, I just, you guys being the haunt that you guys are, I've really paid attention to you guys. I've really watched everything. And the one thing was, I didn't know much about you guys until a OHA meeting. You guys had someone come in, you guys had somebody speak, and this person was so passionate through her voicing that you could hear it. Mm-hmm. And I took a little time, talked to that person. And when we started this entire thing, I was like, you know what? This is one place I've got to find time that they come on, because people need to know that charity haunts aren't just a small thing. I mean, they can be so much bigger, so much creative, this and that. And I'm small, but I'm still in season 7. Well, actually, I'm coming up to season 7. We started in an old house with black trash bags on the wall. Oh, yeah. It just it comes with it, and that's like I told you originally when we spoke on the phone. It's a lot of hard work and determination. You really, as long as you want it, you'll get there. And we don't even like to sometimes, especially us, some of us that do the building and do the set design and the detail and the scripting and all of these things, we step back and for example, we had a review team come in last week. They're filming a documentary series and they wanted to shoot an episode here. And Sean Norman, who's the owner of this haunt, he's like, hey, you want to take him around? Everything. I'm standing in these rooms and I'm just like, I'm explaining this to them, and it's like we're very close to being ready to open for our season. But I'm looking at them and I can see like, oh, this looks bare. This sounds really cheesy. Or they're like, no. And then when everything gets pulled, the light, you bring the lights and the sound and just the smallest little detail, and you're like, oh wow, I really did have a decent vision. But sometimes it gets hard. You want to be proud of it, but you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm just hyping myself up a little bit, but it's always nice to hear the compliments, so we do appreciate that. Yeah. Friday, did you have something? Because I'll tell you what, I could run this entire thing since I showed up, but no, I want you to say things too.
Oh, I would love to. I have more questions to ask. I've had questions the whole time. I'm just trying to be respectful. Okay. You were talking about how everybody has worked together to make this haunt work, and I can see it. But what is something that one of your haunters have done in a scene, and it could be last year, any year, that has blown you away?
Immediately, I think of this young girl she's grown up and moved on. She's into other things now. But we had a room that it was almost like a gathering point for that tour guide to gather their group, kind of get a head count, get a face, seeing who they have. So this room, I mean, it had the visual, definitely had the visual of things, but it wasn't like meant to be a complete scene, like how I spoke earlier about having a whole storyline. This girl, it was her very first season, very first acting. I remember she was just supposed to be in there and just interacting with the group a little bit. There was no script for her. I remember coming around, I had to follow a group through to get up to another one of the actors upstairs. And we have a set of steps, like a staircase that leads upstairs. And then it goes around a bend, so you're like on a landing. She was back bending, like in a back bend, coming down the stairs. And I was just like blown away. I'm like, well, who told you to do that? Like that was amazing. And just a little side step, we got to make sure we're telling our actors, we are praising them to let them know you are doing a great job. But I was so blown away, and I'm like, this isn't going to last long. It's going to get tiring. She don't make it the night. No. All season long, this girl was coming down these stairs in a back bend. Like, she was completely contorted. Like, I don't know how she was doing it, but it gets better. I mean, I don't know that I would say it gets better. She was having seizures from the strobe light.
Oh, no.
And it was like once a weekend, she would have to come down. We'd have to bring her, like, are you sure this is what no, I have to do it. I want to do it. I love it. And I'm like, I haven't seen this kind of dedication in a long time. No kidding. We'd bring her downstairs. The medical team would look at her and, okay, well, let's call somebody to come pick you. No. Just let me sit for a little bit. Give me some water. I'm going back up. I've never seen anything quite like it. Like, it was definitely, it gave you chills. Somebody was that excited to do it, but not even just the excitement, but pulling it off. It was amazing. It really was. So that was definitely my first thought would be her.
She sounds like a heck of an actress, and I will tell you, I've heard in the past from other people talking about my haunt and talking about charity haunts and this and that, and saying if you don't get a paycheck and this and that, then you're not a good enough haunter. And I said, well, that's not true, because I will tell you now, I hold some of the records around here for how much I destroy people. And
Congratulations.
I know. Oh,
and that I meant that with sincerity. Congratulations. We like to hear that.
I made a girl pass out last season. She just seen me and she was done and over everything. And but that's not to toot my own horn, because I've seen the actors, I've seen the actresses, they're volunteering, they're giving up their time, they're giving up whatever they could be doing to come out and be at this haunt. They're finding a purpose in this haunt, not just to stay up late and eat junk food just to keep yourself all hyped up. Mm-hmm. We know that happens, and I highly recommend any haunter stay away from Red Bull and Monster, because those are not friends when you are haunting. Because when you crash super hard.
Yeah, everybody has a headache. Everybody's got a stomach ache. Hey, I called my ride. I'm ready to go. Oh, I don't feel good. I'm like, how many monsters? What's in that bag you got there? So I get it.
Right.
But even going back to when you're not a paid haunt, that you're not as good. And I know it wasn't coming from you, that you've heard it from others.
Right.
But I absolutely have to disagree with that. And especially being at this house. I've been here since 2010, right? I said 2010, 2011. I knew coming into this is a volunteer thing. Like, I've been into the haunt and horror my entire life since I was wee little. But coming into this place, I knew it was volunteer. And we've had partnerships with like the local CAC to where they want to get these young adults, even some teenagers, a head start on working. So through the CAC, they would pay different businesses. We were included in that to pay, like I said, these young adults, young teenagers. So a group of them started working down here, and they're getting paid to do things around here, but it wasn't us personally paying them. And there were so many like people that were like, and I can understand, they were kind of like a little brokenhearted. They're like, well, I do that. And I'm like, trust me, it's not the same. They're not down there working and scaring people. They're, you know what I mean? You may picking up trash or cleaning up after people, doing things like that. But I have always said that I guarantee you getting a little bit of extra money is nice on the pocket, but I have always said that once I would start getting paid, it would suck the fun right out of it for me, because then it felt like a job and not my creative outlet. It would I think it would just ruin it for me.
I've had numerous people that tell me, you know, if you're going to make anything a career, do not make this a career, because then it sucks all the fun out of it and you regret a lot of things. And then you're always looking over your shoulder because maybe I'm not doing what I could be doing to make this better.
Right.
And I respect those people. And in fact, one of them is actually traveling from Tennessee up to Pennsylvania, and I hope he made his trip nice and safe and sound. So if he's there, hopefully he messages me. But no, going back to all your stuff, yeah, I totally agree with that, because, you know, I have never got paid for what I do. And when somebody says, hey, you know, we got a little bit here, we want to give this to you, I've always found out how to take it, twist it, and put it back into the haunt. Because if I made that haunt better, that is going to bring more people. And I have been haunting for 20 years. And man, I have loved the journey. There's only one time I questioned 4 nights. And that is totally different. But Friday, you look like you got something else.
You were talking about how you would make scenes. What is the coolest scene you've made out of reclaimed materials?
My chainsaw.
If I
That's a hard one.
it really isn't though. Because honestly, every one of them would have reclaimed. Don't get me wrong, there are things that we have to buy new. Sometimes it's just the way that it works. You know, we might have to, dang, I don't want to spend that money, but you know, we do it anyway. We're like, Sean, I don't want to do this, you know, because I feel like this is coming out of my own pocket when it's not, you know, but there's never a room that is brand new. So every single room would be reclaimed in some way. And it's not even just necessarily something that we used in a room prior to that, but it might be something from home, or maybe it was something that we used prior to that. And then we switched it up and we upcycled that too. So, I mean, to be honest with you, every single room, every single season, the whole time we've been open, it's like I said, we came from trash bags to lots of details on the walls. You know what I mean? So everything.
So I have a question on top of that one. Oh, go ahead.
She never answered what neither of them told me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm sorry. What was that?
The answer was, what was your favorite scene from
what
reclaimed
was
material?
my favorite? Okay, so I
That's
completely, yeah. There's been so many because we change it. So many things every year.
See, now she found out where it's hard.
Yeah. He got me. Either you don't get many more of these, but you got me. I don't know that I could necessarily think about it later and say, oh, this was my favorite. But what first comes to mind is we had a room, it's probably 10 years or more ago, that we had a Volkswagen Beetle upstairs inside of this warehouse building. I think that would be one that really sticks out. So I guess you could consider that reclaimed.
Right.
Boy, if Raz was on here right now, he would start losing it because DH or HD Hell's Dungeon has a bug at the bottom of their steps and it's bright yellow.
Wait a minute. What color was that?
Yellow.
It was yellow. I think it was yellow. Right now we have the front end of out in our Z-Tag zombie challenge area, our outbuilding. We have the front end of a semi. So yeah.
Well, I'm just saying maybe it just went down to Hell's Dungeon.
Maybe.
It might have.
Maybe.
I never know where it went.
No.
But I do have something on that. So how many times have you had something that has been broken and you have re-altered it or repurposed it for a new scene or a new kind of design? A lot of times the way she just said that.
A lot. That's a question for you, for the one who gets to lose out on getting in costume because we're around fixing things while we're open. So you lose track.
Yeah.
JT, you want to chime in? You still in here?
All the time, every season.
Yeah.
You got that awesome idea, that awesome look of something, and then you're like, yep, that'll hold up until it doesn't. Yeah. Like, put that handle there, it'll be perfect because it's the main.
And it does most of the time for a while.
It's the main thing for that room. Your actors have to pull this handle for something to happen.
Yep.
And then sometimes they pull that handle and it's still in their hand.
Yes.
Electronic stuff that can never be trusted.
We use it. But it's funny. We had a couple years ago, we had a bed that we'd built, reclaimed wood. And when the tour would walk into the room, this person was on the bed. So it was an exorcism theme. And then it was like kind of something from like that old movie Reanimator. So they're laying flat on the bed. They're, the room's going on. And as the scare would happen, there was a handle on the bed. So, when it was the exorcism room, the priest was exorcising these demons, and he had to grab a hold of this handle and yank it out. And when it would yank out, it would release another lever. And so the person laying on the bed, so if you're flat like this on the bed, they were now standing up. And it was amazing. We had review teams coming through. They're like, that was so cool. That was so unique, all this. So one night the actor was in there and he's really getting into it. And he's exorcising these demons, and he went to just so dramatically to do it, but without being seen, and went to yank that handle. When he did, he's looking at the group holding the handle and nothing happened to me. Yeah. He improvised. He threw himself on the floor. They're all, going crazy, but it happens a lot. More is this. It always makes you feel better, especially when it's your work that failed, that you have such amazing actors that are going to improvise, and just some people just don't even realize it happened. So a lot. The answer to that question is a lot.
Right. Right.
Well, the reason I brought that up was because there is a request from my haunt to any haunts that are trying to get rid of their older stuff that's like broken or this and that, because I actually want to make an area in my haunt that has a whole bunch of different questionable props, broken props, wired props, this and that. And I have it all figured out, but I don't have enough parts and pieces yet to make the whole thing look as good as it needs to be, in my opinion. I guess I need to ask you, at what point does your opinion stop? Because I know when you look at something and you're like, I want to make something, and your opinion just keeps on going on, and somebody just has to drag you away and say, dude,
right,
it's okay, just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one right here. I mean, I can't, I gotta be honest. I really like things how I like them too. So I can be like that to where I'm like, okay, I gotta be drug away myself. But I guess that just comes with the passion too, so sometimes it's like, oh, remember a couple years ago when we were going to do this room and we didn't have what we needed or we couldn't figure it out. I just thought of something. So we put it in your back pocket and it'll come later. It'll come when it's supposed to.
Right. I mean, I had someone drop off a skeleton at the driveway to my parents' actual house, and it sat there underneath this tree. And I looked at my dad and I said, hey, that's a really cool skeleton. It's kind of busted, but that is actually a science skeleton, Dad. Where'd you get it? Well, I thought you got it. I said, it's been sitting there for 3 days. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I thought, well, you had a principle behind that one. I said, so where did it come from? He goes, I don't know. Nope. I don't know either, but I'll tell you what, it's still at the haunt. It might be in kind of busted pieces, but in actuality, it was missing a leg, and I just recovered a leg, and I just thought of this now. I might have something to put on him. I might actually have his leg. But
I have
a medical skeleton.
I have a medical skeleton at home in a garbage bag. The whole thing's there. The whole thing, even all the wire that kept all the bones together. But I had something similar happen to me. It's been several years ago. I had a package delivered to my house. No address, no name, no nothing. I opened it up, and it was a giant posable, like a rubber latex skeleton itself. And I still to this day have no idea where that came from. It was just shipped to the house, and I'm like, okay. That's awesome. I don't know where I'm going to put it.
We do that a lot here at the haunt too. We've done like our prop room and our prop trailer clean out, and when we would have work details and we'd have like a lot of the younger staff here and leading it up, and it's like, oh, we'll just send them out. Sean, the owner, would send them. Okay, well, I want you guys to bring this all out of here so that we could see what we have, what we can toss, what's ruined, whatever, and put it back. And I would walk out and there would be mounds like sitting by the dumpster. And I'm like over there just rifling through it. You can't throw this away. I can use that. You can't throw this away. And like years later, somebody would be like, oh, you remember that time that we had that? We'll just say skeleton. That's what we're talking about. That skeleton that we had, and it had that missing arm and that missing leg. And we threw it out when we cleaned up the prop trailer. And, it would be really nice if we had that right now, but we do.
Right.
Well, we're never going to find out. Oh, no. I can tell you exactly where it's at.
So how many semi-trailers does your haunt have? Let me ask that question, because you made it in the haunting industry when you show up and you got a semi-trailer for storage.
One.
Okay. I'm coming close to you guys because.
But that's not the only place we store our props, but we do. We have one. That's what we call our prop trailer.
Friday, I'm not even going to ask my next part. Go ahead.
I'm sitting here. I've watched different parts of walkthroughs, commercials, whatever, and I'm like, that haunt itself is decent. A decent side with all those little rooms you have. And I'm like, with how many years you've been in operation, there is no way with something that size and all the random extra stuff you might have, you have one place to store. And then you said, oh, we have another place to store stuff. And I'm like, okay, that makes so much more sense.
One big trailer, and then we got one big room upstairs.
Well, we have the big room, but we also have one of our places out by our zombie challenge. There's a shed, so we store some stuff up top there. But a lot of our stuff too. No, yeah, I have. There are several of us that do. We, especially over the winter, it's at home, and when we need it, we'll bring it back. Or somebody else is designing a room, and they're like, I wish we do. I'll bring it, next weekend for you to use. So we do a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff at home. There definitely is. And then we have we have a big makeup room. So I have a lot of stuff stored in there too. Some of the stuff too is like, I don't want nobody to use this in another room. So I'm going to just keep this in here for a while because I got an idea for this next room I'm doing. So, but yeah, we do. It is a big, building.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you've never seen this.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, because I am so opinionated that people pretty much know if it's in the makeup room, Erica's claimed it for something. So
This
is not the prop you're looking for.
Right. This is the prop I have. No, I do try to share, and I understand because the way I think of it, it's as a whole. We work together. So, but there are some of those props. You're like, I do that with a particular mask here. We have a whole costume room, and all of the costumes and the mask get sent up there at the end of the night, except for one. It goes underneath my makeup station, and that's where it stays. Just so I know where it's at, and it's just this home, and everybody knows that. Hey, can I wear this mask? You sure can. But where does it go? Under your makeup station. So I definitely with the props.
So I got a question here. I could not remember. Are you guys staying for only one half of the show, or are we staying for both halves?
That's totally up to you. I have.
Oh, no. I have to ask because here in a little bit we will have a commercial break, and I don't even think we got into photos yet, did we?
Oh, no. No.
So we're gonna we're gonna
do the second half. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Even though I get like I told her earlier, I have all the answers most of the time until there's a camera in front of my face and I'm just stumbling. But in honesty though, like I bore people sometimes. I could just go on and on and on about the experiences until sometimes when you ask me and I'm like, but like the stories and the detail, like I just definitely have that passion that I could just speak on it every day if I could. So.
Oh, trust me, I know the feeling. And sometimes people tell me I'm got some duct tape out on my truck if you don't stop. But no, trust me, this haunt is one of the haunts I want to get up to. I don't care if I got to bribe you guys for just letting me get a sneak on an off day, because trust me,
you don't have to bribe us. We don't give, we don't like to tell everybody what we're doing just because, how that works with the haunt industry. But thank you, JT. But we aren't stingy with stuff. We like to share, because the way I see it is other haunts are not they're not our competition.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like if there's something like they're especially even if you're right up the road, that's why it's called a haunt season. So, you have all of October will into us, half of into September, into November, but you're gonna go. You don't eat at the same restaurant every night. Well, most people don't, but you know what I mean? So like you're gonna go here, and then maybe tomorrow night, or if you have time tonight when you're done with our place, you're gonna drive a half hour, 45 minutes and go to another haunt. So we don't, especially when it comes to other haunts. If you got a question and I have an answer, I'm gonna share it with you. So, and I would appreciate, you know what I mean? I appreciate the same. And it's like with you speaking about how you're just a little guy, and we don't see ourselves like that. And like I was saying earlier, it's like, I don't know if this looks good or not, but we're going to go with it. And then you get a lot of compliments, it's just, you just got to have that pride, and you just got to keep trucking on. So no, you got a question, I mostly have an answer, and we're not gatekeepers here. So
that's awesome, because I'll tell you, there's a whole culture that I would like to see end one of these days. Just saying, this is our haunt, we control this, you will never get it out of us. And if you go to any other haunt, you're not a true haunter. Because honestly, for 20 years I've been haunting. I have been at different haunts, and the best things I've been able to do recently is I have been able to guest act at other haunts. And yes, sometimes they will let me bring all my gear, and sometimes they give me an itemized list of things I can't bring, but it's okay because, some haunts are this way, some haunts are that way. But if I ever show up, you're going to have to meet Grandpa, because Grandpa is a permanent fixture with me.
I think it's all about how respectful you are too. You know what I mean? You don't just come in making demands and stuff like, this is our place, you have your place, by all means. Like we've had guest actors in the past even, and they want to come. You guys have this. We had a couple just last season, and sure, come. But I mean, just know that if you want to come with a chainsaw wielding clown, and we have a chainsaw wielding clown, that's not, we're not going to.
So far, I've never seen anybody have a grandpa that they walk around with.
You make me want to meet Grandpa.
Trust me, any haunts that have seen me and they have had me come over, and then all of a sudden they see Grandma on my hip and then Grandpa as I'm walking around, everybody has been like, I've never thought of that. And then someone else has been like, that is the taboo, and we don't do the taboo. I said, I do. And he said, I'm glad you do, but we don't.
We have a pappy, but he's not a prop. So
yeah, I'm sure that there ain't no one that's going to get upset with me for having Grandpa. And the funniest thing is, almost everything that Grandpa is can be purchased at your local Hobby Lobby. Just don't tell them what it's for, and they won't freak out.
It's a good way to think about it.
My son accidentally flat out told him what it was for when we were purchasing everything. I got it paid for, and the person wanted to know what it was for, and he informed them, and that person I thought was going to hit the floor.
We actually had, it wasn't, I mean, I guess it was haunt related, but not in a sense. We have, our son just turned 4 on July 15th, and asking him what he wanted his birthday party to be in. He said, I want spooky. He loves the haunted house, and I make party decorations. So, I'm like, okay, well, are you sure you wanted this? And you want all the spooky people, or do you, because he loves Michael Myers, and he's like, I want them all. So here I am racking my brain, and I'm making all these different party decorations and buying this and buying that. And I'm like, and I got to do the cake. So go into a bakery and tell them, I want this cake. I want the red drippy icing. I'm not I don't work in a bakery. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I'm like, I want the red drippy icing. And I was like, but I want it to be like this. And they're just like, well, what are you? And I'm like, well, it's supposed to be blood. And they're like, for a 4-year-old? And I'm like, Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he loves it, so it turned out nice, but I totally get that too. It's like, do I stay it or do I
Yeah.
know? But I've been doing it for so long now. Oh, look at the urn. Is that
That's
Grandpa?
I found it.
That is Grandpa.
So you could have told me that I never get to meet Grandpa. You could have been honest.
You can meet Grandpa, but what happens is anybody that meets Grandpa has to take him fishing. I will give out samples of Grandpa, and I tell people you gotta take him fishing. And when I do
definitely
this,
have to come visit us because the two of us will definitely take him fishing. So we have no problem with it.
I've had people put Grandpa in their pockets, and then next thing you know, they're just like, "Oh my gosh!" But
she never made it back from Oz.
I want a vial of Grandpa.
Yep, I got those too.
Yeah, I've never.
Don't worry.
Crazy.
Oh, you should see Grandma.
And we're getting
Grandma's a different urn. Grandma's a different
we have
urn.
ours here, but we don't. Our characters don't carry them around. They should.
Oh, Chainer does, and he will.
Oh, no, we have
if you
things
go,
that we carry around, but just we don't have an urn.
He's actually got a urn that clips onto him, and it's got a hand coming out, and that is Grandma. And if you pull out Grandma's hand and say trick or treat, what's Grandma good for? Every grandma has candy.
Better be Reese.
There is candy. There in October there is candy that is Reese cups in the bottom of Grandma's jar. And everybody loves Grandma. Seriously.
I just like her for it's just like your own grandma. You like those Werther's originals. Give me them Reese cups.
But yeah, it's Chainer walks around and he's got 2 urns. Unless he is going to go full bore on somebody, then he tells his grandparents, "This ain't safe for you," and he puts the jars down, and then he fires up Rachel, which is the chainsaw.
Okay, it's chainsaw's name too.
Gotta name her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not quite sure. I think we're almost at the point for a commercial, right? I jumped in late, so I don't know when the timer is.
Yeah, we're hitting the hour mark now.
Okay. So if we're hitting the hour mark, we'll go ahead and have some commercials. And like I said, we should have you on the other side of the commercials, right?
Yes. How long?
Okay.
How long do we have?
We have the show is 2 hours, but if you decide that you're like, okay.
I mean the commercial break. How long is that for?
Oh, the commercial 3 minutes.
Okay.
That makes a little more sense.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. We can do that.
But yeah, it's like a 3-minute little commercial. We go through a couple of things, and then on the other side, we'll have you guys back, and we'll get pictures loaded up because there's some pictures that we need to talk about that you guys sent us.
Okay.
They're already loaded.
The link to this StreamYard, is that the link we share around? That you sent us?
If you're going to share a link, if you're adding a guest, that would be that. But if you are just sharing this, you can find it on Allight Network, on the Facebook or YouTube, or you could go to Chainer's Field of Screams Facebook, and we're streaming it live on there too.
Okay, we'll do that.
I can do that. The Chainer's link to share the show.
Okay.
But okay, let's do ad break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Shabobos and Shabebans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Seed's trying to say is that on Retro Reductopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Alrighty, we're back. Hello. Welcome back to our freak show.
And man, I thought I had like 10 more seconds of commercial left. But no, I noticed that. Came back and I'm like, oh, I'm stuffing my face. I swear, it's no one's parent. Okay, I'm out of stock in the fridge, so we need to have Halloween and haunted house season open. That way I can restock my freezer. Anyway, so we're back, and trust me, we got two wonderful guests, and they're from the Wells Township Haunted House. I was so excited to have these two come on the show, and I didn't care if they were going to have 15 or 16 different guests on this show. I just wanted to make sure that this haunt got on this show because this is a charity haunt. It was started it was started underneath Wells Township, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where the name came from. A wonderful person bought it.
Woo for Norman.
I gotta meet this guy. Jeez, as long as he doesn't
Everybody's
arrest
gotta
me.
meet Sean.
But no, I first heard about this at a Ohio Haunters Association meeting. By the way, if you ever want to have a meeting at your haunt, just let me know and I'll get the connections going. But anyway, that's something different. This is all about you guys and how awesome you guys are, and you guys have been doing amazing.
Thank you.
I am so jealous of how well you guys are doing that I could probably fill up 16 jelly jars of the jealousy.
No, there's no room for jealousy. You don't need to be jealous of anything. Just work hard. That's all.
Oh, yeah. But you guys have been around. You guys have taken the time, and you guys have a nice following behind you. One of the things that we always struggle as haunters is we can have 10,000 people in the beginning of the season, and then 2 weeks later, I'm looking at maybe, a fraction of them because everybody's not understanding what it is to be a haunter. They think it's just late at night, hanging out, this and that. But being a haunter, there's got to be so much of a passion for it. And when you talk about passion, it's not just, oh, well, this is a major thing I like to do. Oh, no, it's something that draws you into it. It absolutely just grabs you and it won't let go. And looking at these photos here of some of your characters, by the way, there is a character in here I can't wait for us to see, because there might be a patch that's on this character that I had to point out very quickly. But first of all, we have this wonderful character here. Give us any information about this wonderful character, because I'll tell you what, the detail on this character. And did you guys, by any chance, doctor the character up for a photo shoot, or is this exactly just what you see when you go there?
Now this,
that's almost the raw image right there.
Yes. So, to be able to tell you about this character, I would never have a. she's gonna kill me. I would never have a full answer for you. It would be never ending, because this is Alyssa. She's another makeup artist here with me. There's several of us. I tease her every year because it's always different. There's always something added on, and she never gives herself enough credit. So to tell you a specific, so some of our characters have names and either they've dubbed themselves. This one is absolutely nameless because she does not give herself the credit that she deserves. So it is just constantly added on. And we came down here one night and we're like, we need a couple more new promo. These are from last year. We need a couple more promo videos or promo photos and some things to add. And so she come down and she started getting into her costume, and I played with some makeup with her makeup. I mean, when I say play with it, that's what I'm always doing, is playing with makeup, but just slapped her face on. It's just something that you would say, oh, it's super simple, but she really pulls it off. So there, again, I really cannot answer that because this character grows every year. I give in the winter, I go through the winter. She's a close friend of mine, so I do see her outside of the haunt. But hey, I can't wait to show you this thing. I'm like, what did you buy now? What are you adding now? But this is really cool, but I need you to help me. No, I don't, because you obviously have the vision. It's like infinite. So
she guide like that?
Yes, she guides, and she's also a tour guide, and she guides like that too.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your tour guides?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
All night
long. Okay. This, as a person that has been haunting and went through haunts and seen characters and loves characters, this is not a guide that I want to follow.
Oh, she'll make it. She does, again, she don't give herself credit there, but she'll make it. She earned her keep around here. And I'll tell you too, not only is she a tour guide makeup artist, you're excited over being a tour guide, but she is now in charge of the tour guides as well.
Yep.
Does she talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's got that on her face.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
and believe me, if she's got a group that doesn't want to follow directions or even just care, that mask will come off. She doesn't have kids, but you think she does.
Oh my.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to be serious with this. Okay. So this does not scream tour guide at all. This absolutely screams, I'm going to make you regret coming into my area. Not, hey, follow me to the next area.
Nope. That's we have, like you talked earlier about, going to these other haunts and the specifics of what you're allowed. That's one of my things is I don't like a lot of empty spaces. I don't like, you don't come to, and again, this is not me knocking, but I don't want I have a lot of pride for this place, a lot of passion, and I don't want you coming in here for something that you picked up from Spirit Halloween. Like, we really like to show off our creativity, and these are the things that make us proud, and these are the things that make me personally very proud. So
okay, so I don't know if she's watching right now or if somebody can get a hold of her, but this is me telling her, you're doing a great job with this character. I don't know what this character, what has happened to this character to make this character be this way, but that is not a tour guide.
Yes,
and I love that. I would follow this.
Shout out to Alyssa.
Oh my
See, I told you, Alyssa, you don't give yourself enough credit.
Right.
Alyssa, I come to the haunt. I want to meet this character, and I'm mind blown that this is your guide. Out of so many people, this is a person that just makes you feel like I went down the wrong part here. But no, this one is telling you, come down the wrong part with me, because that's what you have to do. Jenny, you got to chime in on this. I'm mind blown that this is.
I did. She is epic. I want to grab her hand and I want to follow her wherever she goes.
What is on her finger?
Oh, it's
it's
like the whole finger.
It's like
metal rings,
like a claw,
like a claw.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a clacker at first, and I was like, "Well, she's only going on the one finger."
She'll clack it at you, that's for sure. But so we used to do a lot of going when Midwest Haunters Convention was still in Columbus.
Yeah, I was not there for that one.
That was a lot of fun. That was some really nice networking. I'm not saying that Transworld isn't, it's just not as close for us. But so that was like our vacation for everybody. Every year, like, we just looked, I mean, obviously you went other places, but we looked forward to this so much. There she is. Thank you so much. And it's a bird ring. I knew it was some kind of claw. It was a but so since we, MHC is no longer a thing, and she has been to the to the Mansfield. She has driven her and her little boo thing. They have went all the way to St. Louis for Transworld. She is very, very passionate about these things too, and she loves to find little trinkets. And again, like I told you, she just constantly, she's like, I can't wait to show you what I got. And I'm like, well, what now? But it's that what now of like, not like, oh, I don't want to see it. Like, she just never stops. She never stops.
My favorite thing with her characters is her death whistle. I've always loved that. It's
I love those things.
Such a uniquely sounding one that she has. I've never heard it anywhere else, and I'm like, oh my god, that thing's disgusting.
Oh my gosh. So I will. You got to give yourself a lot more credit on this. This look is beautiful. Yeah, there's the patch.
Yep.
There's a OH. I have absolutely talked to Ohio Haunters Association, and I told them, I said, the bright red is amazing, except for one thing. We need to go to a darker design, like a SWAT design color.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, no one would wear it. I said, we haunters would wear it, and it would not stick out as much as it does. And this is a prime example right here.
We've had that that same patch, well, not that exact patch, but a patch on another jumpsuit, and it was actually a red jumpsuit, and it stood out there.
That would look good.
But I personally think that, it depends on the character and on your, your personal preference. I don't think that's too bad, but
I really think that me and Max need to sit down, because honestly, I love that your characters actually are wearing them. But I really think that if we went to a tan or a gray instead of the bright red, it would hide it a little bit, but yet be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the reason that we're bringing this picture up. This character just absolutely, I love whoever did whatever you did to that mask to make it look like it's rotting and boiling at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, that was so I don't even know. This is the picture that you showed before from Melissa. This is her boo thing. So this is this is her boyfriend. So I had did a couple props that I detailed for a room several years ago, and did that very thing to it to give it that rotting look. You don't want to steer off too much, just like you don't want a porcelain doll that bleeds, because it's not, you want to try and stay realistic. But but she so how did you do that? And I tell you right now, I ripped off a piece of couch cushion. I unzipped the couch cushion, ripped a piece off right on my makeup counter, and showed them. I took a hot glue gun and I pressed some glue on the counter, and they're like, now what do I do? It's like, well, we wait. You just get a little bit tacky, and you take that couch cushion, because you don't want it smooth. You want it, a little rough with that texture, and just dab her on. And then they're like, okay, well, now it just looks like cloudy glue. And it's like, okay, well, now you're going to put another layer, and you add this paint, and you add that paint, and you add this perma blood, and you do that. And it was just a buildup, and that's what you get from that. So that's what they did for that mask. And he loves the mask. I hate the mask, because whenever there's a problem and he comes running into me with a problem, and I'm like, take the mask off. I can't understand you. He's always like,
yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
What I like it. I love it. And my question was going to be, is that his actual hair? But I can see a little bit of his scalp, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually his hair. That works really well with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He came here from Buffalo, New York. He moved here, and he didn't other than a couple people that he moved here with. He came and he started volunteering, and he found a place here and found his woman, and now, you know what I mean? And now here he is, and look, there he is. Now I try to speak loudly. It's not about how loud you talk, Jan. It's just you can't understand it. It's muffled regardless. But another one that is very passionate. He's one of our chainsaw guys. So he's one of the ones that the chainsaw is his baby.
But does his chainsaw have a name? Anyway.
Probably. I don't know. Jan, does your chainsaw have a name?
I really like how you guys make these photos, and how you guys are inside a building and making it look like this looks like it needs to be outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's actually okay. So earlier when you asked me about areas in the house that we don't that we change and don't change, this is another one that we've had up for quite a few years because it was such a massive build. So one of our guys, he came in and he did this alone. It is a moving, like it's a bridge. What would you call it? Almost like a rope bridge. Yeah. So it's moving the whole way, and it zigzags back and forth. So yeah, that was definitely a massive build. That was definitely took a lot of creativity and a lot of thought and creative genius to do that, because it is inside, but it looks exactly like it even just built tough too. It looks like something that you would find outside, like in the middle of a jungle. It's definitely.
So this is a picture of your guide again, right?
Mm-hmm. And that is also, I would like to point out too, that not only is that inside, but that is upstairs. So that's not on our lower level either. It's actually this room that we're sitting now. It's right above us.
Yeah.
We have it like we have different like dub names, cute names that we have for our different rooms and stuff, but we just call that the bridges. That's it. Just simple, the bridges. It works for itself. We don't have to do anything special other than spruce it up a little bit and give it some detail, maybe some rethemed, but definitely
when I first seen this photo, I did not realize that this was the same person 2 photos prior.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a absolute different look on this.
I mean, if I'm going to be real with you, she probably put another scarf on. I don't know. She's got a million. I don't know.
Well,
no, that's all in the same, all in the same shoot.
Different angle.
And this is one of the things I love about haunters is they have this entire vibe when they're in their costumes. That's totally different than the vibe that they have walking up to you, asking you if you want to go to McDonald's.
Right.
And
I mean, you might be dressed like that going to McDonald's after a night, I don't.
My whole thing was always going to Waffle House afterwards, but they knew what they knew what they were getting into when we shut down for the evening. But we don't do that as much now because I actually own a haunt now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just love how the different angle, the different lighting almost brings out a totally different person, even though it's the same person.
It's the same way. It's the same way in our room. So that's like what I was saying earlier. It's all about that detail and that lighting, the angle. You could hide something in a room that is right out in the open and nobody ever sees it if you have your lighting right, and they only see it when you want them to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can. There's been times that you have this massive idea for a room and you get in building it and you're right in the swing of things and you're just sitting there thinking, you're like, you know what? They're never going to see this other side. Never going to see it. This whole corner over there, because there is so much to look at that you could just leave it bare. And then in the past we you never knew it.
And the creators know it and they stare at it forever and ever.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite things is just going in, and we have acting coaches but I love nothing more than to sneak around this haunt when we are running and getting into a room and hiding and where they don't even know I'm there, and just so proud of not even just my build in that room. Maybe somebody else built a room and just see it come to life. It's amazing. We're going to call this picture EMS.
Really? Because I was going to call it battered women.
Yeah. Oh, you could. I did. I really messed her up.
No, I'm looking at it going, there's some marking here. There's a lot of detail here.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks like she looked like someone came into the homeless camp and swung her around a little bit.
Scarring, bruised lips.
Sometimes we spend so much time down here, you might mistake it for a homeless camp. But the reason why I said we'll call that EMS is because the previous pictures you've asked what their character is or what they do there. That's what she does. She's not an actor. She is EMS. She is medical. You might find her serving you a hot dog out the window, and the next minute she might be looking at someone's sprained ankle. She just that's how much creativity that we can all gather up together. That the night that we did this promo shoot was the night before. We were just down here hanging out, sharing ideas of what we're going to do for this and what we're going to do. It's like, you know what? We come down here tomorrow. We're gonna do this. And it was just impromptu. And this is what we did. She doesn't get it. I mean, she in the past has acted years ago, but she said, can I be a part? Of course you can be a part of it. So we beat her up a little bit. And I mean, she probably felt beat up after the photo shoot too. But yeah, that's our Becky.
I have a friend that's a haunter, and she will not come near my costume because my costume looks horrible. And I told her one time, I was joking with her, and she still thinks I'm serious. I don't wash it. And
you wash
she
it.
told,
It takes that detail from it. You
Right.
gotta have that smell, that musty.
oh my gosh,
sweaty.
she will.
I'm gonna give you a little. He's probably gonna be a little bit mad at me, but this fella that we have here on the screen that we're looking at right now, he's a good one for that.
Yeah, rule number one:
What's that
never wash
smell?
it. Never ever wash it.
Arthur.
Well, when I go over to a different haunt and this and that, I'm respectful, so I will make sure that it is at least defunkified. Well,
little Febreze.
It absolutely has been like done like this for so long that the markings and this and that, the Sharpie marker does not come out of it anymore.
Well, I'll have to tell you, you're a better person than me, because in the past, on my costumes, I have sprayed rotting decay on myself, deliberately sprayed it on myself to get that smell. So, oh, that's
I think my wife would kill me if I put rotting decay, and then all of a sudden drove home and left it out in the yard where the dog was probably going to roll in it.
Right.
Has not washed.
All right. That. You know what? If it starts walking on its own, give it its own room.
Right.
I'm just saying. But no, I love how haunters have their own characters, and I have taught my character or my haunters, I do not want to have a character that you bought from Spirit. I do not want a character that you have done this and that, because if you go and you have somebody that is from a movie, they expect them to act like that
that's what
so I've got 4 haunters that absolutely have found their own characters, and unfortunately one is leaving me this year, and it's going to be sad to lose him, but it's okay because we all grow up. We all need to do stuff for ourselves, and I can't say nothing about that.
Right.
Other haunters, they want to go to other haunts. That's perfectly fine. But the one thing I do want them to do is take their characters with them, because their characters have been designed by them. Their characters absolutely need to be with them, because I cannot take a character and say, oh, well, you create this one and I'm keeping it just because it has the smile of Chainer. I said that's not how this runs. Right. I want them to go on to bigger things if they can, something that they like a lot more. Maybe they're more comfortable at a different haunt. That's perfectly fine. But I love how haunters have their characters. They create their characters. And I've told my haunters, please do me a favor. Understand that your characters have to be sealed up. Because once you leave here, you can't act like your character. If you're in your own private whatever, then you can act like your character, fine tune your character, but don't go to Walmart and act like your character. People will not understand. And I love seeing your guys' characters because you can see they're in that mindset.
We have, obviously more promo videos and things. We weren't sure exactly what all you were needing or what they were needing for. You were needing them for when you first requested them. So yeah, that's just, a few of us. We have so many creative ideas, and kind of going back what you were talking about earlier about having people at random times telling you about different rooms. I'm in January at home, sitting bundled up watching scary movies, of course, and I'm getting messages from, an actor from when we do our lights out nights, or a tour guide, or an outside roamer, or anything like that. And they're like, "Hey, I was thinking about buying this." And I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, it is January.
Yep.
Please
take a break.
If you don't want to, please, I have a lot. Let me take a break. But at the same time, it's even rewarding for me to know that somebody else has that same passion that I do. And it's not just October that you think about it. It is year round. And that's really something to be proud of. That's even in the past when we've had our lights out nights and we're not, the rooms aren't running. So, it's pitch dark, and you have one glow stick with your group of people to make it through. So you don't have to stick to the theme of the room. It could be any character. And I have opened it up for some of our teen staff, because I've had so many express like, "Hey, can I maybe get on the makeup team? Can I help with it?" And I want to do that. And I want to provide that opportunity for everybody, because it's even the young, like the teen staff, they're our future to this. So like, I want to do that, but I don't have the space to have 17 makeup artists. But getting back to where I was going with that is, I've opened it up and said, "Hey, this time and this time only, I want to see your creativity. If there is something, whether it's a makeup that you want to do on yourself, a makeup that you want one of us makeup artists to do on you, a costume, before we, come up on this lights out event, I want you to message me, show me what you have and what you're made of." And I have allowed them to do their own makeup and to bring their own costume. It's hard sometimes because you don't want to hurt feelings, but it's like, well, that looks great, but you got to add, it's a little too plain. We got to bring it up, but it is, you never want to hurt anyone's feelings, especially with that. They have creativity, like I said, but it's amazing, especially some of these younger, I've had 14-year-olds come in and I'm like, "Who did that?" And they're like, "I did it myself." And I'm just like, oh, like, that's amazing. I have a girl that she was 17 when I brought her on the makeup team because I was short on makeup one night. And I said, "I need your help." She went on to go to the Tom Savini School of Makeup. She is now, she just graduated. I think it was over the winter. I don't quote me on that, but she's now working on, she's working her way up. She's working on movie sets and stuff. And I am so proud of that because she started here as like a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? So
right.
When they do come up with their own things, I can agree with you about if they do go somewhere else, bring that. You worked hard for that. Not only just image, but to become that character. You know what I mean? To do that for yourself. It's not even just that creative outlet for me. I just love to see other people succeed in that. I love to share my ideas and, I'm not as good as you. Yes, you are. You're better than me. You just don't have that. You don't have enough in you to, without me telling you, yes, you do. Look how great you're doing. Go do it. Do big things. Do that. So that even goes with what we said in the beginning is sharing is caring. Like, I want you to be successful, you know, even at your haunt. If you have a question, something that if I have an answer to it, I'm going to give it to you. So I can totally agree with
that. Just opened the door for me. Anyway. So I do have something from Friday here. She's gave me the twinkle in her eye that she's got something, and here I have been absolutely just going on and on and on. And I am so sorry, Friday. I can see how you want to take one of those gravestones and throw them at me, but don't hurt me.
I thought in the beginning, I was like, why is it so sunny there? I thought she was sitting in the graveyard. It took me a minute to realize she had a green screen. So luckily it's a green screen and not
from earlier today.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent, clear picture.
My background is actually from my haunt.
Same. Same.
But yours is actually your haunt. Mine is just a photo that this white thing is actually the mic that keeps on appearing.
So some places have reoccurring mascot characters. Does your haunt have any?
Yes. Yeah. We several.
Well,
so
what are they?
That's the character that we were looking at that had the OHA patch on. Well, he does have a couple that he switches out. He's one of them. He generally works in one of our endings. We have our haunt has alternate endings, so you don't always go throughout the same room. You know what I mean? So you could come in twice in one night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you could come through twice in one night and you're probably going to get two different endings. But anyway, he worked in one of those endings. So he has that character. We have a nurse. We have a couple of clowns. We have your Wraith. We have your and JT's duo of Chernobyl Catastrophe.
Yep.
We have, my goodness. We have what's just always named for his woodland, like
woodsman.
Yeah, like a woodsman. Yeah, we definitely have.
He's always adding to that too.
I no longer really get to dress up. Not even just because of how busy I am with the haunt and the things that go on and the wheels that turn, but also our 4-year-old is with us all of the time. I used to have one. Her name was Karma, which it was just my thing. I didn't act in the room. I was either out here on the porch. I would tour guide, or I'd be out roaming what we call our yard, where you stand and watch the bands waiting for your group to be called. So we have had many, and that's only a few that have even just, I mean, we don't have a lot of people that cycle through quickly, but over the years, since we've been doing it for so long, we've had some cycle through. But yeah, we definitely have quite a few reoccurring, but I couldn't give you an exact count, because even some of them who have a reoccurring character in that costume, they have 2 or 3 characters. Might have one on Friday night, Saturday night another, and then the following weekend 2 more. So there is definitely, just like I was saying with her costume, continuously adding to it. It's that passion. I can't say it enough. They never stop. They never stop thinking like, this could be even better if I do this, or I can add, I have another character. So definitely a lot of them.
I totally could not do that.
Oh yeah. Karma and Wolfie.
Yep, I actually was just sending you a picture of Wolfie. That was my icon character when I started.
His
here.
original.
My original that I had. It's all handmade. And I mean, besides the pants were definitely bought. But the mask was made, the shirt was made, the gloves were made. That was, people came here to see Wolfie. Part of Wolfie. Wolfie was an extra.
So Jenny, just even tie those two questions together, which is kind of funny that you ask, because you mentioned earlier about upcycling things and reusing things, and then asking about now about the different characters. So when you started over at the other haunt that's no longer open, how old were you?
11, 12, 13, maybe.
So that's how long ago this has been. So over at the other haunt, he used to wear, he was known for his overalls, his bibs that he wore as a teenager. One of our rooms, we just decided, it was yesterday or the day before, one of the actors in the room, one of the parts in the rooms, we wanted to be wearing overalls. And we were like, we're in a group of us or in a group chat together, and like, what can we use? We got to find this and be on the lookout for this. I was like, wait a minute. We have two pair. I was like, as long as Jimmy doesn't mind. And I brought him up. So we have a pair of overalls that he wore. He'll be 38 here in a couple weeks, that he wore when he was a teenager. We're about to put them on a character in a room for this upcoming season. So
it's awesome. It's been in the basement for years.
Yep. So that actually could go with 3 questions that you had earlier, because where do we keep stuff, and do we have any at home? Yes, we do. So
that's awesome. I'll tell you. My character has modified so many times throughout all the years that somebody asked me, which transition is this? I said, probably number 6. And the thing is, number 6 seems to be sticking really hard, because the mask that he wears right now, I actually handmade, and I have to fix it just a hair.
We always do.
I found something that start breaking in it, so I've got to take the wonderful heat gun to it and remodify it. But I love my character, and the thing is, I've told everybody, I do not have to have the scariest character in the world for you to look at, as much as I need to modify myself to get somebody's attention. Right. So you will find my character with urns. You will find my character with weaponry. You'll find my character with a pair of pliers, because I have people that come to our haunt and think that they're big shots, but they have piercings, and I will tell them how you stick a piercing in, and I will tell them how I am going to take it out. And that is exactly how it is. And somebody goes, well, your character would be a little more scarier if you would take some paint and actually put some face paint right here, right there, this and that. I said, but he doesn't need that, because what he does. And they're like, well, you could tell it
doesn't fit the part. We're after a part, not yeah.
It's
one of the okay. We had we froze there for a second. That's one of the things that you hear come out of my mouth often. No, you cannot have more blood. It goes with what you're saying. You don't have to be covered in blood to be scary.
Nope.
It's about the part. It's about the part that you're feeling. So, it's most of the time when you have this vision in your head of what you want that costume to be, that character, you build that from the ground up. In the past, even some of my past characters, or even other people with their characters, they have a whole backstory of how this character came to be, just so they can pull this off, and they fall in love with this part. Your customers, your patrons, or even other, are probably never going to hear that backstory, but that's
Nope.
just, you want it to be right. You want it to be accurate for what you're doing. That's just like I said earlier. Doll, you know, you got a doll character, you know, actor in a room. Oh, well, can I have blood? No, we're trying to stay, you know what I mean? Like a little, you know, I mean, is accurate as you can get. I mean, obviously some of this stuff would not truly be happening, but you know, a doll doesn't bleed, you know, we just like to try and stick with that to make it more, you know, that keep that fear and that believable that this could truly happen to me. You know, I am scared.
That cleaner look of something might just be scarier than covered in dirt, blood.
My character, absolutely, he's functional. And that's what scares people when I tell them he is functional. And somebody goes, well, what do you mean? And then we'll get a stormy night or we'll get this and that. And everybody's just like, he is fully functional. Yeah. And that is my character. He's simple. And I will tell you right now, the hard hat, it's great because he goes through brush. The little black things that come off, those are actually to keep the wind, the dust, and even the rain away. And I kid you not, that mask I made, and you can see Grandma, she's constantly with him.
Grandma's hand looks a little swollen.
It's she's been through a lot.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know how long I've had her, and I didn't know what to do. And then I found the first urn, and I was like, you know what? You're going in here.
And in fact, time. Do you mean how long you've had her in an urn, or how long she was your grandma?
Actually, I don't know when I got her. Like that hand has been around for so long. In
Grandma's
fact, before
looking down on you. Grandma's looking down.
Before Chainer's Field of Screams opened up, I had the hand of Grandma, and everybody said that it was the hand of fate, and I said no, it's Grandma. She didn't want to spend quality time with me when she was around, so when this happened, I made sure that she was going to spend time with me. And that's why I say about Grandpa too, because Grandpa absolutely doesn't get away from going too far. And in fact, there might be a music festival here in 2 weeks I will be at, and Grandma and Grandpa's coming to the music festival.
There you go.
That fits.
There you go. Always promote.
But yeah.
But
oh yeah. Trust me. But no,
we were at a concert back in November, and I brought a couple shirts. So we had a group of us from the haunt went together, and we were throwing some of our haunted house shirts up on stage. We're like, please, you know, Maria Brink, please wear this shirt, you know.
So I'm gonna ask a question. I don't know if we've already touched on this because, you know, once again, I came in late. You guys had like a little music thing at your haunt, or you guys were with this?
No, they was at our haunt.
Yeah.
That's the metal fest.
Yeah, the Midsummer Metal Fest. What, fourth year?
Would you like to talk about that? Because trust me, it seems like if a haunt is big enough that you can have a metal fest, or you are famous enough that they actually have a festival there, it should be talked about.
Right. Actually, we had a man that's in a band called Altered States come to Sean several years ago and said, we're a metal band, you're a haunted house.
They go together.
Haunted houses and metals obviously go together. So let's bring it to life.
He actually, yeah, so this is his baby. He wanted a metal fest. He needed a place to put it. He wanted to showcase all of the local bands, you know, just like saying we're not gonna gatekeep here. So we're like, okay, if you want to do that, Sean says, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So he is the one that the man in this band, Altered States. He is the one that gets his bands and he puts it on. We are just the place to do it.
Right.
So they use our stage outside. It's just like the networking, because these are some of the same bands that play here in October and September and November when we're open to play on our stage. So we were just like, you know what? Well, if they're going to do it here, we may as well just be open at the same time. So this is definitely their baby. And, you know, this, we just in, last month was our Metal Fest, and that was the 4th one that we've done. So shout out to them and all the local bands, because they have to struggle just like some of us haunts do too. You know, got to work hard. You got to just keep going, you know, and we've had, you know, bands in the past, the same thing, that came here and started playing here as, you know, young musicians, and are now signed bands traveling on tour. And, you know, so yeah, that the Metal Fest we do, he puts on his show. He gets his lineup with the bands. We choose a date. We work with that. We open the haunt, and those are the Metal Fest night that we do. That's one of our lights out events when you go through with just a glow stick. So the groups are smaller. Normally around 5. You get one glow stick, and you have to find your way through this enormous building with that one glow stick. And then obviously you've got scare actors jumping out at you, but you don't see them until you see them, you know. So it's definitely a good time. And I like also to shout out to Mike, the man that puts this on, because that is now our child's favorite band. I'm pretty sure our child is all of the views on YouTube. They brought him on Metal Fest. They let him bring his little tiny drum set up on stage and play. So again, it's too that passion and that pride of working too, and just working together and networking. And so we just make it happen. Got those your local and your small businesses and the things that just aren't as, you know, we're not Walmart. So that advertisement, whatever, but it's definitely worth it.
When we talked along and towards the beginning and end, we were talking about caskets and stuff. It sometimes helps if you have friends with a funeral home.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely helps.
Sometimes you can have an unlimited access to caskets.
Oh, the flower arrangements.
Yeah,
we have there's a funeral home across the river in West Virginia. We know somebody, but also the funeral home in this tiny little town that we're in. It could be, like I said, in the middle of the winter, and we might get a call. It's like, hey, we're redoing some stuff. We're getting rid of some stock, whatever. You guys want some casket? Yes. Right. Do you want I forget what they call them, the pedestals they sit on? Also, yes.
Yes.
Do you want these candelabras? That is not a no. That is also a yes. So we're getting rid of it now. We just had a room that was one of our alternate endings, which was a funeral, and it is filled with caskets. Yeah, so it definitely helps.
Never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to go over in my storage area right now and just go get a couple jars of jelly, because you guys made me even more jellier.
You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It's expensive. It's expensive to run a haunted house. I know, but especially when you are a nonprofit. But it definitely helps to, you know, listen, just to get off the topic a little bit. It's not even always about likewise businesses that maybe you get the conference. Right. We've had a local church that does a rockathon to make money, and they have used our building for a rockathon. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the metal music scene. People have the wrong idea, like with the haunts. We're not just a bunch of, you know what I mean? Yeah, we have some crazy ideas, but It's not, just again, it's always that network. And we've had places way down the river that were old costume shops, and we've reached out to them. Can we, maybe work out something? And I don't even worry about that. We're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And they would give us they had given us costumes that were like clothes that were from the 40s, and even like some even older, so that's definitely something to always keep in mind. And, either somebody watching or even you at your haunt, that networking, it really, really helps. We've had other haunts that do amazing. They were bigger than we would have ever have dreamed of in Pittsburgh. And they were getting rid of a maze. And we've because we don't treat this like a, you're not our enemy, you're not our competition. And we've bartered, and hey, we're done with these dolls. You guys want to use them? And hey, our maze is up, we're done, it's ran its course. Sure, send us the parts. So it's definitely worth that.
Yeah, and I have some haunts that are friends, and when they have something that doesn't work for them, they call me up and say, you might want to come over and see what I got. And I said, okay. And he said, you like baseball? And I said, it's okay. He goes, what about batting cage? Yes.
So many things you can do with that. So many things.
And then I come to realize that's not a batting cage. This thing is huge. And this is definitely not a batting cage because I've never seen a batting cage round. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you what, it works. But
we've had in the past with Sean, he's the boss. He likes to say that he can't do this without us, but he's the boss. His name's on it. Like this is his thing. And stuff in the past. I mean, if he's watching now, he'll probably get a little chuckle. But there's been times he says, I'm sick of people just dropping stuff off here. We're not using it this year, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like eventually turned into like, hey, I have this random big giant thing. Like, could we use it? Well, we don't have anything to use it for this year, but just tell America said it was okay. You won't get in trouble. Just tell America said it was okay. You know what I mean? And we use it, but that limited space to storing stuff. But yeah, there are just so many ideas, like things that have just sat around for years. And then that one year, you're like, I can finally use it. It just makes it all better. So I totally get it. There are so many different things that you can upcycle and DIY to make something incredible. So. And then it's even better if somebody sees it and realize what it is. They're like, I can't believe you thought of that, So
it's even better when haunters come through and they're like, what is that made out of? And then you come to realize it and they're like, oh, I never thought of that. You know how much I threw away of that? Yep. Right.
We have like even our vortex tunnel. We have a volunteer here that put that together, and we've had other haunters come in and say, which company did you buy your vortex tunnel off of? We didn't. Well, sure you did. I've seen this one. I've seen this guy, this prop company, this person. No. Well, then how did you do it? Well, there's a windshield wiper motor. There's a bicycle rim. There's some PVC pipe. There's some landscaping fabric. And they're like, and you got the what? Yeah. We've got some incredible minds, and it's not just here. They're all over. So many people that brilliant ideas.
So,
and if you do it yourself, DIY, you save a lot of money, especially when you're a nonprofit and that money has to go back into your haunt. You get even more creative.
Yeah. The reason that our haunt even started was because my grandfather had cancer, and we wanted to find a way to donate into Relay for Life. Well, once we donated so much into Relay, other people were kind of like, well, why not donate a little bit in this direction, then that direction, then this direction? And the one year that we were able to donate $10,000, was amazing for us. And that is such a small amount versus what you guys donate.
But it's not always like that. Really, it isn't. Some years we might have some, and like when I spoke to you on the phone, I didn't have an exact number. In the past, maybe it could have been 15 grand, but then another year, maybe we didn't have that. But to giving it to people right down to donating it to clubs, because we're like, hey, well, it would be considered that, you come in and give us a couple hours one night this season and we'll donate money to your club. Or, we've had people who were hurting and having a hard time down and out in life. Other haunted houses, we've donated our time to other people's haunted houses. So when you're doing something like this, it doesn't take a lot, and it's not always about that money and how much you can do. Even just with being volunteer and getting paid, it's the meals at the end of the night. It's the camaraderie, it's the friendship, it's the family. And so you could donate $10 in a span of 10 years and you did something great. So definitely be proud of what you've donated and what you've made and accomplished, because again, it's not always about the money. But I mean, I'm getting ready. 10 grand is 10 grand, pal. Like I could do a lot with 10 grand. So that is, and that's a lot of money.
Right. And we start going and we start looking at something, and our concession stand might be one of the smallest things, but it helps a emergency disaster service program. And that is something that they come in, they start working on it, they do this, and they take care of the concession stand, which is awesome because it gives them an opportunity for them to talk to people about theirs. Right. And I think as we keep on going on, we realize that, hey, it's still new and fresh in people's eyes and ears and mind. But the problem is, we still have these people that just look at it as, well, you could be doing something better with your time, but they don't understand that, hey, we've done really well. And anybody that asks me the location of mine, I will tell them we're between a bean field, a cornfield, and a bar, because the tavern is where you park and then you walk over, because we just don't have room. But
we're between a river, some train tracks, and a park, in the middle of what seems like a Mr. Rogers, right out of a Mr. Rogers neighborhood. Like, it doesn't. And again, this isn't where this haunt started. It was before. It was in the middle of a neighborhood in an old house, just a 2-story house. You know what I mean? Again, trash bags on the wall. So it is very hard for me to feel like, obviously I'm looking around like, maybe this don't look so great now, whatever. It turns out great, but it's very hard to make me feel like I'm not doing enough. It's for the money doesn't come from me. This is Sean's house. I'm just here for the ride. I'll do anything and everything for him with all of us. But it's very hard to make me feel bad for what we do, because we put so much effort and so much love, regardless of, we're here to scare you, but it's there's so much more to it. So it's very hard to get under my skin when it comes to things like that, because and those same people that might say something to you now, they might need something tomorrow, and we're the type to give it to you. So
right. Well, it has been an absolute joy to have you guys, and trust me, I was doing a family activity. It rained. And I said, you know what? It rained. We should go home. And you know what? It was okay, because it rained around.
Is your family watching?
No, my family is not watching.
I'm going to have to watch out.
Everybody's been sleeping.
Said on that phone call, you said, hopefully it'll rain so I can get in on time. Don't worry,
Well,
I read this one out too.
we actually had a great time. We got there around 10 o'clock in the morning and enjoyed ourselves. The little poison ivy start riding roller coasters and start getting on bigger rides. Budsy, he enjoyed himself. He got to spend quality time with me and his stepmom and his stepsister, which Budsy.
Okay, our 4-year-old, his nickname. Everyone, this is what all of our close friends and or even around the haunt would call him Budzo.
But that's funny. I've been calling him Budsy since he was born, and I looked at him. I said, "You know what? Everybody has a little buddy. I want a little Budsy." Mm-hmm. So I put the ZY on there, and
ours came from Buddy Boy. Yep. He's our little haunt baby. It came from Buddy Boy to Budzo, and now most of the time when you ask him his name, he's going to tell you it's Budzo and not Grayson. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yep. But yeah, and
it was nice meeting you, and we really appreciate for having us on. And
no problem. And you know what? I want to know how your haunt goes and is doing this year. That way, when we do have a episode, we can go ahead and give like a little report of how our haunts are doing. Because honestly, we want to do that. We're looking for other haunts that just want to do a small little video that gives a little information about the haunter. So you guys are more than welcome to submit a video about the haunter. That way we can find out what the character's name is, how long this person's been haunting, what haunt this is actually from. We're still out there trying to find a twerking clown. We still haven't found that, but
I bet I got a couple that would twerk for you.
Right. Oh boy. There you go. There you go, Friday. She really wants to find a twerking clown because she made a comment to somebody a long time ago, and it's never came to truth.
There's not much ours won't do, so
we'll make it. We can make it happen.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have to talk them into it either. So,
you know, there was
the show.
There was a haunt years ago that I went into, and I told this clown that he was doing a great job, and I thought highly of him, and I said, hopefully what you get from this is really worth it. He goes, I get paid in dog biscuits. I told him, I said, okay. And he goes, I like milk bones. And he just went running off barking. So you know what? Clowns, you will be clowns. I know you will be. I got
Jan.
Right.
Sorry, Jan, but it's the truth.
That's a Jan thing.
Yeah. No, and definitely too, if you're ever in the area or anything, you hit us up and let us know you're coming, and we'll accommodate you best we can. And again, you got to have any questions out there, and don't ever think for 1 second we might not have one for you either. We might have one for you.
I like questions.
Right?
Questions are awesome.
We'll put you on the show, man.
But no, Friday, do you have anything before we go ahead and close her down?
Oh, well, no, not really. It's just an addition to, you know how they have the Scooby treats, the graham cracker bones.
Yeah, the Scooby snacks.
Yeah, the Scooby snacks. My little buddy, he's also 4.
Oh,
I thought that was awesome. He loves the Scooby snacks, so we have to get him Scooby snacks.
Does he bark too?
Sometimes he loves all the stuffed dog.
I do.
Real dog.
I do. I mean, really, the 4-year-olds. I mean, really, that's all they are house pets. Like at this point, they're crazy. So, especially ours.
Yeah. My 4-year-old drug a boy at preschool down the hallway so he could meet Daddy.
Oh.
And I looked at her. I said, "What is this?" And she goes, "You said if I like them, you should meet them." I said,
"Oh no.
"No, we don't do that." And he goes, "Can she please let me go?" I mean, she drug him. I was just like, "No, we don't do this." And the teacher said, I didn't know what was going on. I said, "Your daddy's coming." And she grabbed him and yanked him out of his coat.
Wow.
Like he was getting his coat on, and she yanked him out of the coat. Yeah. So poison is going to be one of those things. But I love her to pieces. She knows how much Daddy loves her. But yeah. That's but so
a flower thing. I don't know. It's Jan. He might not even know what he said. Like, oh goodness.
So I'm going to say thank you guys very much. And
thank you.
We have this wonderful question for everybody. How do we get a hold of you, or how do we get a hold of your haunt?
Oh, there's several ways. You can look us up on Facebook at Wells Township Haunted House. We have the website. You want to give that one?
Wells Township Haunted House.com. Instagram, TikTok now, YouTube. We're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, so just we have if you go to Wells Township Haunted House.com, there's also a phone number too that will send you straight to me if you have any questions. So yeah, there's we're trying to keep up with the time. Some of us are getting old, but we try to keep up with that social media. So and then we have our email too, which is
if you prefer email, that's contact@wellstownshipHauntedHouse.com.
So I do want to point out to everybody that if you are in the Ohio area, we last year had 137 different haunts that we had registered. But I'm going to suggest that everybody gets the opportunity to really look of what haunts are in your area, because you don't know what you're going to miss if you don't take a look and see what haunts. Because if you have not been to Wells Township Haunted House, they are not just open, and they're not just open for haunt season. They are open for different special events throughout the year. You guys had Cupid's Revenge, was that?
No, that was somebody else, not too far from here. But we have a St. Patty's Day weekend. We're always
you guys had yep. There is so many holidays that haunts are open, and I could not remember if you guys were Cupid Revenge or if it was the St. Patty's Day one.
We like to do random Friday the 13th. We have our Metal Fest. Also, we do one Sunday in haunt season, which is a lights on tour. So if you're scared, or you have little ones that feel like they're ready but not quite there, they could come down. We shut the road down with inflatables. They walk through the haunted house with all the lights on, and then just a little sneak peek, we might have something in store for maybe a Santa Claus. So stay tuned for that too.
That's our first time with that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that.
Old Santa.
So this is a haunt house that absolutely does not shut their doors just at the end of haunt season. And I know that you guys work on stuff in the off season, but being also open in different times. So pay attention to this wonderful haunt. It is a charity haunt, so it absolutely has my heart. And when I found out about it, I think I was more giddy about this than a girl that just found a new boy pop band. I'm just saying.
Right.
Because this called to me so well, and just to hear what I was told about it seemed so amazing. I know some haunts can't do what you guys do, and that's just the reality of every single haunt is different. And I am
But
very
that's
thankful.
what makes it good, though.
Yeah. And I'm very thankful that you guys are actually a haunt that likes talking to other haunts and working stuff out, because honestly, that is like a key factor in a lot of different things. And that's really what I got. I know I came into this show so late, and trust me, I could keep going on for hours and hours, but I know I have to go and wake up super early. That way I can go through someone's trailer in Central Ohio.
Well, it depends
tomorrow.
on how super early you're here, because we got some work we'll be doing tonight when we're done here, and we'll be right back here tomorrow. So we're coming in on our crunch time, and we've got a couple things to button up. So we're down here quite a bit. So maybe you should just ask, and we might.
Well, actually, it's not your trailer. It's no, actually, we've got two of our vehicles going over to Central Ohio because some of the props that have been at the Scaratorium are coming to our haunt.
Oh, nice. We like Scaratorium.
Yes. Yeah. And
Nice.
when we came across, no kidding, when we came across something that said haunted house rules, and it had duct tape, we had to remove the duct tape just to see what it was, and it said Scaratorium on it.
Come in here.
Scaratorium, yep.
Come here. Come up over here.
Oh, you got people?
Come here. Come in here. We're getting ready to be done, but we'll share. Come here.
Absolutely.
Our tiny haunter.
Awesome.
We got Becky. We have Rachel. We have Riley. We have Anna. Where's the Owie?
Upstairs.
Upstairs tinkering with something. But this is some of us that have been working together, getting some rooms knocked out. But this is only a very small group of us of what we belong. But this is our little Budzo, our tiny haunter, and all of his friends. So
let me tell all of you guys, thank you guys for doing what you do and letting your love and passion flow through you guys into this haunt, because this haunt is something that has been amazing to hear about, and I need to find my way up.
This is Oli.
Okay.
Uncle Tizzle. But we appreciate you having us on. We don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know you got to get up early and go raid someone's trailer.
Yeah, this is the second one I'm rating.
It was nice meeting you too Friday.
Absolutely.
Like I said, reach out.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up for sure.
Absolutely. We want to hear that, because Chainer's Haunted Secrets, if here pretty soon in a couple of weeks, we're actually going to switch it from Fridays to Wednesdays. That way we can actually have people on here live talking about how their haunt's doing and this and that, because we all know that Fridays are not good days for the haunt industry to have a podcast.
Yes.
So, but I will let you guys go, and I hope that you guys all have a wonderful haunt season. Thank you for being on the show. And see that little guy? That is the future.
Yes, it is.
And I will tell you what. Taking a picture of me.
Yep, taking a picture of the podcast.
You know what?
Cheese.
I will tell you, as soon as the trading cards get done, I will find a way to send you a whole thing of our trading cards with the
we
posts.
appreciate that.
That way you don't
you.
have to just save me on your phone. You can actually get a signed picture of us.
Oh, you get a trading card of a spooky character.
Yeah, thank you.
Sweet boy. All right, can you tell them, say thank you for having my mama and daddy on and all my friends.
Hi.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
But hey, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Friday, where can we find you? And then we're going to split out here because I need some kind of sleep.
Hey, you got to keep the internet on.
Oh, me? I'm here at Paycor, at Owlite, at Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, and Jennifer Elliott is my author page.
And you can find me, Pile Hazard, on Facebook if you really want to friend me or you guys want to chat. And you can find me on TikTok. Man, I need to start doing some. Friday, you gave me some homework and I've been slacking at it. But you can find me on TikTok. You can find me all over. And you can find me on a lot of the Owlite Network shows if I've got time. It is coming to be haunt season, so I'm not going to have much time for anything. But we thank you guys very much for joining us. We thank you guys very much for liking and sharing our wonderful podcast. And we hope that you guys all have yourself a great evening.
Same to you, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.